Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday evening and happy bump date time because it is bump date time. We have exciting stuff in store for tonight because this is time we're going to do something that we had talked about doing for a couple stories here, which is share the birth story. Share how Zeke entered the world, which I think a lot of people will be interested in and find a little unique, find hopefully
Oh, I kicked the dog.
valuable. You kicked the dog?
Oh wait, no, that's my water bottle.
How did you think the dog was a water bottle?
I don't know.
Laura said she's not sitting up for this.
I'm in the most perfect disposition. There's a pillow in between my legs and right here and like 3 back here.
I have 0. So apparently she's not moving. So we're doing a lounging bump date.
I mean, I might move. Well, I'm sure I'll move because I can't breathe.
I would recommend moving then.
Well, no, I can breathe right now, but like it doesn't take much for me to not be able to breathe anymore.
It's a shame.
I'm comfortable right now, so right now
she's good for now, so nobody move.
This is how I'm going to lay.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Tomorrow, hopefully you've got plans to spend time with family and take it easy, have some relaxing, chill time, because that's always good with the people you love.
Does that?
Are you gonna say anything?
I was just thinking about how it's my dad's birthday today. Did you forget to say happy birthday?
Why did you? I thought you were gonna say that you just realized it. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Zeke and I FaceTimed him earlier to sing happy birthday to him.
And you never told me that.
Well, you were getting me peppers
Do you have any idea where my parents' birthday is?
Why are we turning this around?
Because I would have treated you differently.
Well,
seriously, do you even know the month?
Right now?
Of my parents' birthday.
Your mom was in March.
Yeah, it's because it's like the same as yours.
Well, yeah, I don't know what your dad does. Well, so here's the thing. This is a really good way to start the birth story.
I'll be right back here.
So 2 years ago.
I seriously cannot believe you never mentioned that to me.
To the day.
Like, do you have any idea when my dad's birthday is?
No.
So, what did you think I would tell you when it came?
I don't know.
This is incredible.
So 2 years ago, to the day, my parents were in Chicago because we had just had Zeke, 3 days before? 4 days before?
I'm not talking to you.
And nobody, my dad is sitting at the kitchen table, and nobody all day remembered his birthday because Zeke was 4 days old. And apparently a 4-day-old trumps, I don't know how old he was at the time. I don't know. Trumps an older man. So
it was a good part of the day until anyone realized it was his birthday.
Yeah.
You got a pass.
I got a pass because I had just had a baby.
I got a pass because I'm
your dad of the baby.
And I'm not like the direct family. Your mom took the brunt of it.
My mom 100% took the brunt of said forgetting the birthday. But now, for the rest of forever, Zeke's birthday will always trump my dad's birthday.
That's the same thing that's going to happen come baby number 2 because he'll be entering the world within a couple days of either my birthday, her mom's birthday. So
it's payback time, really.
Yeah.
My birthday's still safe. So anyway.
Yeah. So what's up with pregnancy before we jump into the birth story? Anything new?
The baby.
Good and bad pregnancy week. Some good days, some bad days.
Yeah, the baby's moving a lot.
The nighttime.
Super low. So that is inconvenient to everything. It's just uncomfortable.
Not inconvenient to getting out.
Right, but it's not time to get out. So now I just have to live with this low baby for 8 weeks.
What positioning would make you happy? What would make you say, "Oh, this is great"?
Out.
Because that's about as good as it can
The
get.
out position would be the greatest.
Okay, well, it's coming.
So we had a midwife appointment on Thursday.
But
What?
keep going. Midwife appointment. We had one on Thursday. Yeah, last week.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah. Did anything
I don't think
happen?
so. Was that when they were feeling ahead and talking about positioning and stuff?
Yeah. Showing me with
Hello.
a teddy bear.
Yeah, we used the Zeke's teddy bear to
Baby's positioning.
show how they were laying.
We also, what did we talk about? Oh, my midwife gave me tricks on how to drink water.
And we talked about, that was right after last week, I'm sure everyone remembers, was our what all do we need to do before the baby comes bump date. And so Natalie helped with that a little bit.
Yeah, she watched and then gave me some really good ideas. So we're on track to start having conversations.
So with all Zeke's party and stuff, we did a lot of cleaning, getting ready for the birthday party. He goes like this, 2. How old are you, Zeke? 2. Which I don't think he knows this is related to 2 at all.
No,
but
it's cute.
So we cleaned a bunch for the party and then got some of the stuff unpacked that she had wanted for the Zeke/the new baby, like the whole jungle gym inside.
Yes. Does anybody want to see said jungle gym that Andrew was so...
Take them upstairs with us?
No, I can just share a picture in the comments, you turd.
Yes, we set up the jungle gym. We did some other... You got some baby clothes sorted through. So you're feeling a little bit better about pregnancy.
Yeah.
That's good. Went to IKEA. We got some IKEA. What did we get? Drawer
organizers for the baby's dresser.
We got a soup ladle.
Because ours broke.
We do really intense scooping.
Yeah, so that was good time. But anyway, yeah, so baby's just chugging along. Midwife appointment went well. Started preparing more so for actually having a baby.
Did you talk to BK at all? Talk to the doula?
Well, yes, just not about anything that you want me to. I started talking to her about her flights.
Oh, you're looking at...
Yeah, I was looking at flights. So that's
we should do that.
Step in the somewhat proper direction.
Should we have like a backup doula here? I think that as I see like Lily and others joining.
Maybe.
It's just one of you local doulas here. You're gonna get a call.
You're just gonna show up, right?
Mid to early January, say, "Hey, you doing anything tonight?" Because our doula's not in town for 2 more days, and we're having a baby. So
would that work out?
Keep your phones on.
I think that'd be fine, right?
Yeah, we've got enough.
That's how that works.
That's fine.
All right. So, in honor of Zeke's 2-year...
Lily loves the idea.
Lily doesn't totally hate it. In honor of Zeke's birthday and my dad's birthday...
Don't even get me started on that.
And Thanksgiving...
For those of you joining late, she literally just told me today was her dad's birthday.
He's fine.
Whatever. I did text him. He said thanks, so I think we're good.
We think we're good. He'll bring it up tomorrow at Thanksgiving that Andrew forgot his birthday all day.
Yeah. That's true. We'll have assistants, like midwife assistants, maybe if we want to do that.
Oh yeah.
They can help. What were you saying?
I was just saying in honor of Zeke's birthday and the fact that
Yes.
where nothing major
Birth
is
story.
happening with baby right now, to update that we can share with you Zeke's birth story, that I don't know.
We're gonna. It's some as you know, faithful listeners. We've
Faithful
talked
listeners.
about at some bump that we should share Zeke's birth story because we've touched on bits and pieces, and some of you know as well. Have probably heard the majority of that, but it was valuable enough to turn into a thoughtful blog post, and heard. I mean, how many ladies have you heard give you feedback of like how that's encouraged them in their pregnancies or help them know more options or anything along those lines? So, although our experience is nothing special because there's countless of others having awesome births and empowering experiences like that, it's special because it's ours and because you know us and you're listening. So I want to walk through that a little bit. And I think we should start by saying that when you wrote the blog, round 2 of writing the blog, round 1 of writing the blog was very angry. It was kind of like getting back at everyone who told her that you could never do that. Like,
if anybody knows me in real life,
to have a baby, like
if anyone knows me in real life and has talked to me for more than 5 minutes, you've probably recognized that I'm a lot
of things
sassy, and I don't like being told that I can't do something. And that's not like a feminist thing. That's like me being stubborn and spiteful thing. And I got told a lot in preparing for a home birth that, things could go wrong, or this isn't safe, or
you don't know how bad it hurts,
or like you're gonna really want medication. Just a bunch of stuff that was A, not encouraging or helpful, and B, very uninformed. And I think that was the most frustrating part, is that what I was being told was from people who did not experience the birth that I would have chosen for myself. So, or maybe didn't even experience birth at all. And so I was just really frustrated. So in writing my birth story down, the first go around was a lot of those emotions coming out in said blog.
It was like a week or two afterwards too.
Yeah. So I took some time and let some of the hormones settle a little bit, and then rewrote the blog to be a little more eloquent, a little less angry, and more thought out, in the sense of
hopefully more valuable, more beneficial for people too.
Yeah, being purposeful.
For anyone from someone who is going to have a baby in the future to someone who is preparing for a home birth themselves. Like we've sent people there saying, hey, people ask what your favorite resources are for preparing. Like, hey, we linked them and listed them in the birth story within the context of how it was a piece of our journey. You had me as an editor, which was a joy.
Oh my gosh, he's so annoying.
Helpful.
He doesn't like the way I write.
No.
So many people like the way that I write.
You
do not like the way I write.
No.
You think I use too many commas?
No. I've stopped. Anyways, I think we should move on. So the purpose. Are you stuck?
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Ugh.
The purpose of writing the story was, well, you titled it, Yes, Your Birth Matters. And I think that would be kind of where you should start, is why. And I'm gonna pull up the blog here and kind of follow along there, see if there's pieces or stuff that we missed, because our memory is probably not as reliable now as it was, a couple weeks after giving birth. And we put a lot of thought into writing that. So
I think say we put a lot of thought into writing this.
Do you remember how hands-on I was for that?
Oh, I remember how hands-on you were.
So what do you mean we?
Because I wanted you to not be.
Anyways.
Mr. Editor.
Anyways. It's my baby too. I was involved.
Okay. Not as much as me.
So you started talking about your pregnancy and your birth matter. Why? Do you want me to read? Do you want me to read it?
Well, I'm kind of looking.
Why did I even want a natural birth, you ask? Taking care of the baby doesn't start when he comes out.
You are so annoying. Oh my gosh.
Then say.
A birth matters because it is like, are you asked like because of from like a chiropractic standpoint or just like a mother's standpoint?
Why is this worth talking about?
Well, because personally, I'm passionate about it because a lot of women don't realize that they can control and control it as in they have choices. I meant to say if there are more choices in
because you can't control it. I mean, it's unpredictable.
Okay, wrong choice of words, editor. Good heavens. There's a lot of fear revolved around birth in our society. I don't know how much it is in other places, but there's a lot of fear wrapped up around birth. There's, people talk about how much it hurts and all the things that could go wrong, the what ifs, the whatevers. And not a lot of conversation is going on about what a normal,
physiological,
good birth looks like, without interventions and without whatever. And
I think it's viewed at best case scenario. It's probably viewed as like something that you can survive and make it out unscathed, not as something that can be a positive experience, right?
Right. Not a lot of women leave their births feeling empowered and really strong, and quite opposite, that a lot of women leave with some pretty serious trauma,
almost feeling abused
emotionally, psychologically, and definitely physically. There's a lot of trauma involved.
They felt very out of control, very uninvolved.
Yeah. So from a woman's aspect, your birth matters because you matter and your baby matters, and from that moment on, you're going to remember that birth, and that matters. From a chiropractic standpoint, birth matters.
I mean, not chiropractic, just health of newborn and mom.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
As a chiropractor, this is what you talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously care. Just today was talking with the parents of a 4-month-old baby about how the birth process went, and it was very intimately related to the 4 months of colic and gassiness and bloating and nursing issues and flat head and torticollis that little one's been dealing with now. So yeah, it's hugely relevant to physical challenges, and then I think the piece that people don't realize is the emotional, psychological well-being of mom afterwards. Just the other day, someone was sharing some research on how there's correlations between use of Pitocin during labor and then postpartum depression afterwards. So many things that we could go into that involved with that, but summary is yes, your birth matters, for you, for a little one, for your whole family. Yeah, anything you want to add to that part?
No. So in knowing that birth matters, it helped kind of dictate where and what I wanted to do with birth. And I always tell other moms that I don't really encourage, it's not that I'm telling you to have a home water birth in your bedroom. I'm telling you to have a birth that you are comfortable with, that you feel safe with, that you're informed in, and do that. A ton of
wherever
women,
you feel safe and comfortable.
A ton of women would not be comfortable giving birth in their house, and I would say then don't do that. Do something else. If you want to give birth at the birth center, do that. If you want to give birth in the hundreds of hospitals around the area, do that. At the same time, if you don't like your OB, change it. If you don't like your husband, get a doula. There's
get a doula anyways.
Well, yeah, but there's ways to just decide how to make it a birth that you're comfortable with and that you feel confident in just going into. Obviously, you can't predict everything, but you can do what you can do. And
that makes a much bigger of an impact than people realize.
Yeah.
And that's the point, is that it's not about having one specific type of birth. It's having an experience where you felt like you were in the driver's seat, that you were able to have the type of birth that you wanted, and ended up feeling empowered and like it was a positive experience, not a negative one.
so for me, I thought through all of that and thought through the options that were available to me, and there was not a birth center available to me.
And let me pause, because I feel like, because I'm thinking,
We're not
like,
even getting to the
say,
birth story.
this is the birth story. Say that with this baby number 2, which I feel awkward even saying this, but say something happens and we need to transfer to the hospital, we end up having a hospital birth, end up having a C-section, end up any number of things that are not part of our plan now. That doesn't mean that everything that we just said isn't necessarily true, because we could say we needed to make those choices because that was best for us and for baby. That could still be choices that we made that were very intentional and in our best interest in circumstances. You know what I mean? So I'm saying even for us personally, we could have, like, if things went down that route, we could still say, okay, these were the choices we made and we're happy with them because it was the best choice at the time. You know what I mean? I just feel like I need to add that in.
Okay.
Does that make no sense to you? Moving on then.
So you're just saying, like, you just take into consideration what you're handed with at the time, and
I'm saying that empowering, like, in control feeling can still take place if you plan to have a home birth and end up needing to go in a different direction.
Right.
You know what I
Because
mean?
then you can still make the decisions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so knowing that I did not want a hospital birth, there was not a birth center available to me, pretty much said that what I wanted would be a lot of the direction of a home birth. So
You wanted, and the reason you didn't want a hospital birth was you wanted more freedom than they would let you,
yes,
without fighting an uphill battle.
remember the whole, like, I'm stubborn sort of deal, and I don't like being told what to do. So that's what caused me to pursue home birth and learn about it and research how to make that happen and what that would all entail and look like. And that's where I say that the birth story started, because in order to achieve the birth that I had wanted at the end, I needed to use all of that time to prepare my mind and my body to be able to achieve that birth. So I was already under chiropractic care, turned into prenatal chiropractic care because I was then pregnant, and continued that throughout my entire pregnancy.
Started to read.
Started to read a lot.
Remember what some of the favorites were?
Yes, a lot of resources that were not necessarily the most well-known or the most popular, but the ones that specifically lined up with my goal. So I was not filling my mind with things that were not helpful, but purposely chose resources that encouraged and educated me towards my goal. So some of those were the birth partner, how to have well-adjusted babies, Ina May's
Guide to Childbirth.
You're cheating. I'm actually remembering.
Good. Natural Childbirth the Bradley Way, which wasn't your favorite. The Pathways of Family Wellness article, the magazines we have in the office, lots of stuff like that.
Yeah. I did a lot of vitamins, different vitamins that, not just a prenatal, but, like, I don't know, I was on a bunch of different stuff.
Wasn't the same as we are now?
No, I was on selenium at that point.
That wasn't pregnancy really.
Oh. So we made sure that that was a thing, made sure that, my diet was good in the sense of, like, getting enough proteins, getting enough fats, being aware of that rather than just eating all the time, but eating things that
Eating for two.
helped keep my nausea away, helped keep my blood sugar stable, that sort of thing. Also did prenatal massage,
Yoga.
and prenatal yoga. Continued just being active, and yeah, that was pretty much like, and then created my birth team and birth plan. And so what that means is in getting my mindset right, I visualized a lot of what birth would look like. I wanted to know who was going to be in the room, what, like if I was having a water birth and where the tub would be, and at what point do we make these transitions, and where is my dog going to go? So I hired a dog sitter that she was like on call and knew we would just be dropping the dog off anytime. So just random things. Made snacks, had my coconut water electrolyte drinks. What?
Made all those, what'd you call them? The frozen pads? Padsicles. Literally made like freezers. I think it was like a garage full of padsicles.
Oh my word.
That never got touched.
I didn't need them.
Explain what a padsicle is.
Padsicle is a menstrual pad that I think people put different things on it, but
you guys put like aloe.
We put aloe and like witch hazel on it.
Some soothing stuff.
It's supposed to help like the healing process, and then you freeze it, and then it's supposed to feel good. But
like helping heal after birth. So literally, we had gallon bags of these, just tons of gallon bags of padsicles in our freezer.
But I never used them because I was told not to use ice, like not to use the cold, and then when I could, I didn't really need them anymore. Anyway, I was prepared. I was just getting ready.
Yeah. Energy balls. Made a bunch of snacks and froze them. So
just was prepared. And then
and one of the things you mentioned in the blog is because everything we've said thus far and everything that was written thus far was like, wait, I thought we were talking about the birth. And that's the thing, that it's not just the birth processes. These things that we've been talking about, the reading, the mindset, the yoga, the chiropractic, the massage, those are what the birth story, that's what drives the birth story, because that's what makes a difference on whether or not you have a positive experience. So that's why we're spending so much time on this, because this is the part that gets overlooked, and this is the part that is really the crux of whether or not you're going to have the experience that you want to have or not. So
what did I say? Birth is a marathon.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. So you don't just wake up tomorrow before Thanksgiving and go run a marathon, right? You train for the marathon.
You run a 5K, it's a turkey 5K.
Right. For the actual event, because you don't want to just go in blindsided and you're not going to make it. If that was my mentality, I was not going to make it. And that's what a lot of people, when they told me that, you can't have a home birth, or what if this happens, or what if that happens, like it's going to hurt too bad. Well, it probably would have if I didn't prepare my mind for that, prepare my mindset for that.
Yeah.
So
anyways, as we get to the part of like where he actually enters the world and labor and stuff like that, feel free to throw up any questions specifically to like how that went or why we did certain things or anything like that, because it's always fun getting to hang out and chat. Two-way street, not just the two of us, because she gets annoyed too.
So the actual event, I was 40 days. Nope. 40 weeks and
40 days and 40 nights.
40 weeks and 6 days.
Woke up Friday morning.
Thursday
it had your one and only acupuncture session.
I'm telling the story. It's the night before Christmas. So November 18th was a Friday.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was 40 weeks, 6 days. And home birth in Illinois is not the most supported thing. And in that, I mean, it is not supported at all. It's very difficult to arrange and make it work. And so I was under the care of my home birth midwives, but also under the care of an OB, which was not my favorite thing to do, but it had to be done because of Illinois stuff.
Long story short.
Yeah. And so the OB started talking about induction, and I could not tell her that I'm not getting induced. I am having home birth. We had to just kind of go on and say we're gonna, try to do it natural. They pretty much just, yeah. So they were talking induction. I did not want that to happen. I did not want to even try to have that conversation. So that week 40, those 5 days, I did all of the crunchy mom natural things to try to get my body to naturally go into labor. So I went to the chiropractor many times. I
induction massage.
Did my induction massage, my prenatal massage, where they hit all of the pressure points that they typically avoid during your other prenatal massages. And then did all the weird, like, eating dates, drinking tea. But then it was recommended to me to do acupuncture. Never did acupuncture before, but I was going to do whatever. So Thursday afternoon, I had gotten adjusted and then went to this acupuncture place that was recommended to me. And they set me up for 2 different sessions, one Thursday, one Monday. In my consult with the acupuncturist, she said, we don't promise anything, but I would not expect to see you on Monday for your second appointment. So she took me in to a 30-minute session and stuck these tiny little needles in very specific places throughout my body. Some in my neck, in my earlobes, like on my hand right here, in my feet, in my lower back. And then she would come in every 10 minutes and twist the little needles. Like,
this seems painful.
It's not. You actually don't feel it until the electric shock type feeling. And whenever she's doing that, you're supposed to say, like, when you feel that charge, and it really does feel like a shock. And then she leaves it alone, and then she leaves for another 10 minutes, and you're just supposed to, like, breathe and relax. And during those times between her, like, stimulating those needles, she is when I first felt my first real contractions. And these contractions were all over my belly. So my whole belly would tighten, and then it would release, and then whole belly would tighten. And it was the weirdest thing. Like, I didn't ever feel that before. So I knew that had to have been something. I was calling them contractions, but I had never had contractions before, so I just assumed. And then my 30 minutes was up. Moved on with my evening, went home, ate dinner.
Friday morning, woke up, BK said,
no,
you look miserable.
All night, Thursday night, I was awake, going to the bathroom, just cramping a lot. And so Friday morning, I woke up and BK was there, and she said, on the plus side, you look really miserable today. And we say the plus side because
you're never ready to have a baby until you look a little bit miserable yet. Yeah. So that's just how you know.
Yeah.
So Friday morning, we still, like, kind of went on with normal life. There's a local farm that we were going to get some either milk or, like, local beef or something like that. So did we take Miko?
I don't know.
We took her daughter, BK's daughter, and just went out on a little, like, farm expedition, walked around outside and shopping stuff.
But I still felt like poop. I just didn't. I was like, bleh. And then we went home. We watched Harry Potter. I fell asleep. It was like a really solid nap. I just remember waking up and being like, I was out cold. And then it was time to go to my midwife appointment. And BK was going to come with me. Andrew was going to stay home with her daughter. And this way, my doula could meet my midwife before the event. So we were headed towards the midwife appointment. It was 45 minutes away. And my midwife had texted me and said, wait, I witnessed an accident. I need to give a report. So just hold on a second and I'll give you an update. So we just pulled over on a side street and just waited to hear from her. And in that time, I had told BK that I was really not feeling good. I kept having these cramps, and she was like, where are these cramps? And for me, they were really low. They were a lot like menstrual cramps. Obviously, they were not menstrual cramps because I was pregnant and was not, in fact, menstruating. But that's what I kept calling them. And she said, how far apart are these cramps? And I said, 5 minutes or so. And she just stared at me like I was a moron. Because that's like the movie scene's answer of how far apart are your contractions. And she was like, pretty sure you're contracting. Let's time a couple of these. And sure enough, every 5 minutes, I was having these cramps. And she said, yeah, we're going to go home and we'll call your midwife and tell her we will see you later just at our house and we're going to have a baby. And so we turn around, stop at Starbucks because
You didn't drink any of that.
didn't take a sip of my iced coffee, and showed back up. Andrew was real confused because we had been gone for 20 minutes or something when it should have been hours. And I said, we're going to have a baby instead. And so we just started preparing for the next few
The
hours.
plan was then, okay, well, like,
Can you
she
take
said,
over?
take
'Cause
a.
I really, really, really have to pee.
Are you serious?
I'm like dead serious. I'm going to pee my pants. You could just keep talking.
Yeah. Well, you're like
Oh, jeez.
incredibly slow, so.
I'm not incredibly slow.
No, this story is going incredibly slowly.
Okay, well, then speed it up.
So we get back and the midwife's plan and report is kind of like, okay, just take it easy, take a bath, have a little bit of wine, just relax, it's going to be a long night. And I think she said, I'll probably see you, by midnight, definitely 3 a.m. or so. So that was the plan. She had, that other stuff going on, and we just settled in. BK, doula, had to get her child to the people that were going to watch her. We had to get the dog out of there. So between all that swapping around, a couple hours go by. And by the time I was back from dropping off the dog, I came home and it was like, oh, we're not in relaxing mode anymore. We're in like go time mode. We're not taking it easy, talking, trying to distract our way through contractions, or we call them more like surges or waves of intensity. We're not really distracting through them anymore. She needs to focus through them. And that's, you kind of reach a point in early labor of, early on, the goal is to just kind of distract your way through those waves and surges, and try to be doing stuff like we had a puzzle that we were going to do in other games or movies. But then it got to a point where it was intense enough that distraction was not getting the job done, and she needed to like focus and work through it. So that's what we then kept on trucking along with, is focusing through each wave and each surge. She felt nauseous at a good portion of the labor, so she was spending a lot of that time in front of the toilet, which is not anyone's favorite place to spend time. But that is how you ended up doing most of labor is on all fours, and on hands and knees, which is honestly a really good way to go through labor, and definitely would recommend it because it lets belly hang, it takes some gravity off, you can sway, move the hips, which gives some relief. And what was really crucial for Laura, was counter pressure. So mostly me, sometimes the doula, when I was filling up the tub or something like that, would be applying firm, really firm pressure on the back of her pelvis or her low back as each surge was coming. And that would help kind of balance out the intensity, the discomfort, and help make it more bearable to work through each surge. Another thing we would do is squeeze. If you like think about a pelvis and just squeezing the hips laterally towards the middle, was another thing that moms really, in general, appreciate and get relief from. It was, you kind of liked it, but your main thing was that pressure on the low back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of how we kept chugging along. Things, like I said, we were expecting it to take later into the night, or at least the midwife was, but things were intensifying pretty quickly. That was 7, 8 o'clock. We kept touching base with the midwife. She'd put on speakerphone and talk to Laura a little bit.
And by talk, he means
listen to a few contractions, how she was working through them. She was focusing on those low tones. A lot of times you think of birth, you think of like the squealing, screeching, like screaming, yelling, which creates a lot of tension. Like imagine trying to have a bowel movement while like screaming. It's not going to work out very well. So what's often recommended in birth classes or trying to work through those in a more physiologically supportive way is basically mooing. You want to moo your baby out. If you have low, earthy, primitive, mooing like tones, it's going to help your body relax. Do you want to demonstrate?
There's nothing that makes you feel more like a cow than actually mooing while...
I mean, it's not like moo, but it's just a low, like kind of moaning, groaning sort of release to help let some of that tension out.
And it was explained to me because if you're doing those high-pitched squeals, your jaw is locked and you're like, ee! So when that happens, everything is tight. Where if you're doing low sounds, it's impossible to do a low sound with a tight jaw. So you're like, and when that's released and your face is released, everything else is released.
More at ease.
Yeah. And so you're not fighting, constricting that baby from coming out. You're
working with your body,
releasing it. And
so a lot of grunts, moans, primitive, earthy types of sounds. So midwife would listen in to some of that, ask a few questions. We were just staying in touch with them. And what it came to was realizing that she ended up an hour or two away checking on with just another one of the moms that were under her care that was having some issues. And she got to a point where realized this is happening faster than she can get there. And so we got the backup midwife.
Never met her before.
So that plan shifted then. So now we're working with backup midwife, and we got to figure out, okay, when's she going to get here? Like they've never been here before, and all that stuff's going on. None of this is taking place with Laura. She's pretty much from probably 7 or 8 on, very little communication between us and her took place. It was just Brittany and I doing whatever we needed to support her, always trying to get her to drink, to eat, and then just being there for counter pressure while doing stuff like getting the tub ready and things like that. But we were the ones like talking to midwives, seeing where they were, especially Brittany would be calling them or texting them. And Laura kept getting stressed out because she was feeling like she was really close to having a baby and nobody else was there.
I didn't feel super stressed out, but I knew they were lying to me, right? So I was like, where are they?
And we told her they're on the way.
I understand I'm a first-time mom and this usually takes longer, but I'm telling you this is happening right now. And if it's not happening right now, then I'm going to die because this.
You were like, I don't know if I can do it if I'm not ready to.
Right.
If we're not close, you don't know if you can do it.
Right. And because I didn't have a midwife there, I didn't have any checks. I didn't know how far along.
You're 4 centimeters.
Right. Like
you're 8 centimeters.
I didn't know. So.
She didn't want me checking.
With a ruler? Like what?
I mean, they don't use a ruler. You just use finger width.
Yeah, no thanks.
Have someone ever gone inside you with a ruler?
So I was never like stressed out, but I knew that you were lying when you were like, they're almost here, they're almost here. I'm like,
Can someone explain to Laura how internal checks work?
shut up. They're not. I was like, they're not coming. This baby's gonna come, and they're not gonna be here. And
It's been
then,
fun.
sure enough, a lady I'd never seen and her assistant I had never seen came rolling in my house, and it was a great day. I was like, welcome. Hallelujah. They listened to one contraction and then they told me to get in the tub.
They asked how you're feeling. You kind of told her what was going on, and then they said, get in the tub. It's time to push.
Yeah.
What did they tell you about pushing?
Best advice, she said, push as much or as little as your body tells you to. So that could look anywhere from like a 2-second little push to I don't know how long my pushes were. I didn't count, but it could have been, a minute or whatever.
Not having someone tell you when to push and when not to push.
Right. Just listening to my body and only pushing when the contraction came and my body said to push.
I've heard some of the stuff I've heard drives me crazy. Like moms will say, doctor be like, okay, don't push yet. I'm getting my gloves on still. Like, excuse me.
I'll push when I want to push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me mad.
I know. Oh,
So,
I'm doing it wrong.
And that's the other thing is a lot of moms are like, tell me how many pushes it took to get baby out. And I'm like, I don't understand that concept because I don't really know what I would consider a push. And time was so confusing to me. Like I had no idea until afterwards, after we had talked through our different experiences of the same exact situation, how long I was even in the tub or how long the whole thing took. I had no idea. So it's just an odd thing to me because, I would just, I don't know. So anyway, she told me to push as much or as little as my body said to push. And I hung out there for, an hour?
I think it was like 45 minutes to an hour in the tub.
And it was actually, I remember when I was on the bed, that's when I had to have been going through transition because the words like, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this anymore, this is not fun, like those
were very real
types of sentences were going through my mind. That was the only time that, I don't know if I actually cried, but I was like, I was going to cry. And then once I got in the tub, it was like a really peaceful time because the contractions had slowed down a little bit because after transition, your body gives you this natural break where it's like, okay, we're here. Now we need to get ready to push. So let's take a little bit of a break and get ready to push. And so I had I don't know how long it was because again, time is confusing whenever you're in that situation, but it was much calmer. And so pushed when my body said to push, and then I just hung over the tub and relaxed a little, and then pushed when the body said to push. You had to remind me a couple times to keep my tones low because obviously while a baby is coming out of you, it's not the most pleasant feeling.
There were maybe at most 3 to 5 like surges that I had to kind of like do it with you to try to like bring it back down and calm things back down and keep you relaxed.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, then I felt baby's head in the tub. I was in a squatting position. Felt baby's head. His head came through, and then it was a little bit
like another.
There's another contraction. I was waiting for my body to have another contraction to push
another couple surges.
The rest of the baby out.
It was maybe a minute or two.
I don't know how long it was.
It was a bit between like head came out, underwater until the rest of the body came out, and he was up in your arms.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it hadn't been like the push that got him out, I think if that wasn't it, I could tell Barb, the midwife, was starting to get a little bit like
Antsy.
I don't really like this. Like it was getting to be to the end of her comfort zone of how long it was between head and rest of body. But then he came out, and then the little baby was in your arms.
Did he cry right away?
Not
was crying right
immediately,
away.
but it was like within a couple, 5-10
Stops.
seconds.
Yeah. And then
And let's back up a second. Babies are not drowning underwater. They live underwater inside of your belly. So being born into water does not mean they're drowning. They are still connected to the umbilical cord, so they're getting their oxygen through that. And they're not taking the breath until they reach air. So water births are not drowning babies. Just because there's people are confused about that.
that's a lot of what I heard when people were telling me not to have a water birth. But yes, so I caught Zeke and brought him up to my chest.
What'd that feel like? Pretty awesome.
What, actually, like getting
Having
him
a baby
out?
in your arms.
Oh, that was good. But the best feeling was the actual like release of pressure from the physical having the baby. Like I said last week, maybe
A couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago, it took a couple hours, couple days to really get past the physical aspect of having a baby to the emotional aspect of like caring for this little person that you love. At least for me. Some people might have it more immediate, but I was like still very much in the physical mindset of birth.
So Zeke was born within 5 or 10 minutes, I think, maybe even 5 minutes. Placenta was born, and then we kept it attached, put the placenta in a clean bowl, and then kept the cord attached to Zeke as you guys got out of the tub, got over into the bed, and got all covered and wrapped up and taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to? How much do we want to talk about like then afterwards? Do we want to do that now or a different time?
I don't care.
This sucker's we're at 52 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a long
about
one.
it after later.
Well, we'll have to, some other time we'll have to touch base on what what happened afterwards, like with postpartum, not postpartum recovery, but like Laura borderline like passing out for a couple seconds and how fun that was and everything. But
To be continued.
yeah, you want to cap it at the actual birth.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Zeke. You're 2.
Okay, thanks for.
We're just cutting it now.
Well, I don't know.
Jeez,
That's what you
abrupt.
do. That's what you do whenever you do like shows
A
and it's like
teaser.
a to be continued. You just
Yeah, well,
end it.
no.
No.
So yeah, that was quite the experience, and looking forward to something like it, but nothing like it this time. Think it'll be more something like it or more way different?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to guess because then things get weird and
Yeah.
This time we have a dog and a toddler we have to take care of, to get rid of.
Yeah.
Plan around.
I was looking at the birth story here. I'll have to I'll make sure we post the link in the comments here for anyone looking to read and check it out in a little bit shorter detail. Links to those books and everything like that.
Yep.
Cool guys. That's Zeke.
Zeke.
That's that little man.
Okay, have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your weekends.
Yeah. You want to sign it off? Have a good night, everybody.